Let's talk about colors in CSS. In CSS, colors are displayed combining red, green, and blue light. This is the RGB model. In the RGB model, each color is defined by a combination of red, green, and blue using a hexadecimal notation. The lowest value for each color is 0, which is 0 in hexadecimal, and the highest value is 255, which is FF in hexadecimal. So, for instance, a complete red has FF, which is the highest value in the red channel, and 0 in the green and the blue channel. Yellow is a mixture of red and green, so it has FF in the red and in the green channel, but 0 in the blue channel. You get the idea, right? You can just pause the video and look at the RGB model if you want to analyze all colors there. So, by mixing red, green, and blue together using different values between 0 and 255, we can obtain over 16 million colors. For instance, this nice green is represented with this hexadecimal code 1DA717. So we have 1D for red, A7 for green, and 17 for blue. Mixing these together makes this nice green. But don't worry so much about these numbers, because picking our colors in brackets will be very easy. And for gray colors, just make red, green, and blue take the same value. For instance, 8B, 8B, 8B gives us that first shade of gray we see here. If all 6 values in a hex code are the same, like 555, 555, we simply write 555. Now one last thing. CSS colors can also have transparencies. If we want colors with transparencies, we do not use the hexadecimal notation. Instead, we write them like you can see on the green square. This gives us the same green we saw before, but with 75% transparency. So, I will now show you how all of this works in brackets. Back to the CSS file of our project, let's try to change that green color of the headings we defined before, because we will actually never use color names like green as we did in the last lecture. So, put the cursor here on this color and then hit Command E, just as we did before in the HTML file. But this time it's not a CSS editor which comes up, but this nice color picker. So this is a pretty powerful color picker. You can click everywhere around here to choose the color. And you actually can see the color changing in our web page. We can also use these sliders here to change the color hue and transparency. So here I can change the color. If you wanted a yellow color, blue color, I don't know. So we can choose anything right here. And with this slider, we can adjust the transparency. As we saw before, this now is this RGBA notation, and here we have the transparency value. Now I will just put this back up to 100% and change to the hexadecimal notation that I showed you before. So you can play around with these colors as you wish. I will just choose some nice green for our headings. Well, maybe this one. So now I will close this, and now we have a beautiful green color for all our headings. Another thing, I will go to the picker again. Now if we push this all the way to this side, we have actually all the shades of gray from complete white, which is FFF, all the way down to black, which is 000. So if we move up and down here, we can choose a gray color. But as I said, what I want is a green color. So just put it here. And here bracket even shows us the colors we use the most in our design. This can be pretty useful if you use multiple colors. Alright, so let me close this color picker, and I think that's it for now with colors. So now you know how to work with colors in CSS. See you in the next lecture.